Good morning and welcome back to the Unintangibles Fantasy Football Show. We are almost finished week 5. I am Jeff Swell. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Mo Aurora. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. How's it going?
I'm doing good. I feel like we finally had a semi-normal week in fantasy football, but just wanted to know how you did off the top yesterday.
I think I did okay. Kind of middling overall. Felt like I didn't have a lot of players have yards and touchdowns, but I think they're going to end up going 2-1. Which I'm happy with. It'll be hard to go 3-0 just because it's funny. The team that I have in our league sort of exists in its own universe, but my other two teams seem to be playing against each other a lot the last few weeks. So I'm unlikely to go 3-0 tonight. But there is a scenario in which I can, and so it gives me kind of an interesting rooting interest tonight. I'm down by a couple of points in our league, but I have Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas playing tonight, so I'm pretty comfortable that I'm going to win. Right? I'm playing against Alvin Kamara in another league, and because Zeke only had an okay game for me instead of a great game, now Kamara only needs an okay game to win. So I don't need a great game from Kamara, right? In fact, I want him to not have a great game, but I don't want, how could a bad game from Alvin Kamara happen? I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to fumble and get benched for the rest of the game. I don't want him to just be ineffective suddenly. What I really want is for him to make a token appearance, do a little bit, but get out of the way so the Saints can throw Mark Ingram a welcome back party. And so I'm specifically rooting for that. And if that can happen, then I think I can go 3-0 this week.
Said by a true gambling degenerate.
Yeah. Man, I'm just rooting for life. I'm just rooting for life to play out. Wouldn't that be nice? The Saints throw Mark Ingram a welcome back party. I think that'd be great,
Yeah, I mean, it's Monday Night Football. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, it's funny because, you hear things about, these guys who come back from PED suspensions and they're never as effective as they were as before.
They're not on PEDs anymore, right? I don't know. I worry about that more for Edelman just because he's also kind of old. Ingram's not old, though. And so I think also – Ingram and Edelman are not the only two people in the NFL who use PEDs. I think they're just the two that got caught. You know, so I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I think Ingram will be good. I'm as I don't even have Ingram on any team, but just as someone who plays fantasy football and cares about everybody liking fantasy football, I'm like, everybody should be a little bit relieved that Mark Ingram's back. It's like, oh, good. We have one more good running back than we had before. That never happens in a season,
I, for one, definitely do not want Mark Ingram to go off as I'm playing him tonight, and I have a very narrow lead. I have a 15-point lead in our league, so I'm going up against Ingram and Cameron Jordan, and I just got to sit there and watch it. I hate when you're on Monday Night Football when you don't have anyone going and you just have to sit there and take it and deal with all that. How do you feel when you do that situation?
Yeah, I don't enjoy Monday Night Football when I have a lead and I have nobody going. And I'm just waiting for all the star players on the Monday night game to go off. That's so dreadful. Because you're rooting for a bad game, which stinks. Because normally I just want the game to be good so I can enjoy it, right? But it's like tonight, if you're going up against anybody, you're like, oh yeah, I hope Saints Redskins is a low scoring game with not a lot of points, or what? I don't know. And it's like, why? I don't want to watch a low scoring Monday night game.
So what you're saying is you'd rather be trailing with people going on Monday night.
Yes.
As opposed to
I think as far as enjoying Monday night, yeah, because whether or not you win or lose, you'll be happy or you'll be disappointed. But if I have the lead, I'll spend the whole night dreading everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm trailing, then I'm just constantly hopeful, optimistic, and just,
And you're there basically on a play-by-play basis. I mean, fantasy players are, we know this experience. We're basically locking down on every play. And sometimes it comes down. I mean, last week I was cheering for a Justin Houston sack at the end of the game. That's how sad it is to win.
Well, it's like I realized this weekend I saw the weather report. So the Kansas City Jacksonville game and Seattle LA both had a chance of rain, and I don't even remember how much it actually did rain. But this is before the games, and I remember rooting for rain only because all of the various wide receivers that I benched in favor of Josh Gordon this week across all my leagues seem to all be playing in those games. So I'm like, I just want it to rain so that none of those receivers go off and I don't feel like an idiot for playing Gordon. Yeah. And it kind of worked out. I mean, I could have had Cooper Kupp instead of Josh Gordon in one league, but whatever,
We'll get into that in a second. I want to get some of your takeaways, but how do you feel on a Tuesday morning when you do go 3-0? Does it really make you, gives you a little more jump in your step for, the couple days? Like, how does that psychologically feel?
It's kind of cool. It's kind of, so far I've had 2 3-0 weeks thus far. And again, I don't think I'm going to get one this time around, but 2 out of 5 I'll take. 2 out of 5 and almost 3 I'll take. Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's fun. And I think it's doubled by the fact that we do the show. So, it's because I've been running my teams by following all the garbage that I've been saying, and I'm like, I have to follow my own advice, right? Because otherwise I'm a hypocrite. And when I have done it, it's generally worked out. And a lot of that is still luck, right? Because my decisions aren't always correct. My coin flips aren't always right. But I think what I've been doing is I've been minimizing the anxiety and the stress part of it.
Okay.
And I think it's I'll be right or I'll be wrong either way. So might as well take the simpler decision than the more complicated one. Try to find a way to agonize over it less than more. And that's been working out.
How do you feel when you're 0-3 or you're 1-2 in a week? Do you start off like a little bit of a pissier mood, basically, or?
Oh, you feel the whole world's against you. It's like the universe, all the energy and gravity and whatever is going on in the world is all conspiring to destroy your teams. There's no other way to look at it.
Yeah, because look, I watch the Red Zone Network on Sunday. And my girlfriend makes fun of me because I love watching football between 1 and 7 on Sundays because I feel like it's my therapy, it's my escape. But she sees how stressed out I am in those 6 hours. Really, it doesn't look like I'm enjoying the experience at all.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. My wife has the same sort of experience. I guess the difference is, but. My wife knows me to be kind of a dramatic person, I'm loud, I'm exuberant, my high, I'm loud, right? So things that are just make you go I'm like, and then I'm over it, things that are worth a chuckle, I'll laugh or so hard and then stop, I'm dramatic. So she just knows. She just knows.
Do you ever jump off the couch? Because I get off the couch multiple times.
So I'll say this: Thursday night, we were going to bed actually, and as I was the game was on in the room, and as I'm crawling into bed, Josh Gordon scores a touchdown, and I'm just like, Josh Gordon, thank you for bailing me out, and then we went to bed, so
nice, yeah. That's awesome. All right, so let's start with some of your takeaways or some of your general thoughts from week 5 yesterday.
Okay, so I'll start with we talked about that muddy RB2 situation, and still kind of muddy. I think I think Kenyon Drake had a good game, but he still had sort of weird usage because they just they value Gore. You got to take that seriously, I guess. And Gore's fine for now, so you got to take that seriously, I guess. And Lamar Miller was hurt, so that he may have improved his stock by being hurt instead of being disappointing for another week. But Alex Collins, Derrick Henry, they were not good for fantasy purposes, but they were better as football players than they have been. It was weird. So Derrick Henry, what was he 11 for 55, 11 for 50, something like that. You're that's promising. But that's not enough. If you have him, you're not happy. It's not enough to trade him. It's not enough to. It's too promising. It's too much of an improvement to like give up on him now if you haven't yet. So I'm stuck with Derrick Henry for another week. Alex Collins is even weirder because like I was looking at the box score and he was like 7 rushes for 42 yards. I'm like, oh, pretty good, right? Then I look again, 8 rushes for 39 yards. Oh, tough one. Okay. Then I look again, 9 rushes for 33 yards. I'm like, what the hell's going on? He's like, is he doing too well? And then he had to go backwards for a couple of plays. So it's money, man. It's a money situation.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I mean, those guys I would definitely still not feel great about. It looks like Frank Gore's still getting a lot of run. The Ravens will always be, I feel like they'll always be running the ball behind a decent O-line, so you just got to hang tough with Collins, I suppose.
Yeah.
Henry definitely makes me nervous still.
Yeah.
Because even Lewis was getting those short yardage opportunities. I think he even got a couple of goal line carries as well. So
yeah, there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if they did that to help Henry's yards per carry. You know, like he's already getting 3 yards on most runs, so like let's not give him the 3rd and 1 where he's only going to get a yard and an inch, right? Like that's not good for your averages. So maybe they're trying to help him out a little bit.
But RB2, 100%. Like it's still, I hate to say it, but I don't remember who it was between Evan Silva and Matthew Berry, and I hate mentioning those 2 huge names. Someone was on James Conner yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was previewing the shootout of the Falcons and Steelers, and they were hyping up, start your wide receivers, start your quarterbacks. And one of those 2 guys was really on James Conner. So props to one of those 2 fantasy titans for pointing that out. I wish I remembered who exactly it was. And I should point out that Evan Silva and we seem to have a little tweeter thing.
That's what I was going to say. What do you mean you hate bringing up these big names? You've been you and Evan Silva are BFFs now.
Last week we pointed out on Twitter that Evan Silva on his Roto World podcast, he just lost his mind talking about the Raiders. He just had like a huge like giggle fit with the host Josh Norris, and then I told Evan I thought it was hilarious, and then he responded to me. Said he was proud of that moment, and then at the beginning of Week 5's previews, he actually mentioned how he was getting hype on his like laughter outbreak, and how he thought, and he told everyone to go back to that moment of the Week 4 podcast. So cool. Definitely pretty funny. So James Conner definitely had a nice game. He had like a 30-point fantasy game on ESPN Scoring.
I remember. It's the Falcons, so I was watching that game. And it's funny because maybe this is not funny. Maybe this is just cute, a couple of jokes. But my wife plays in a fantasy league, and she's been suffering Le'Veon Bell all year. And we had the game on in our house, and we're watching James Conner do his thing. And I turned to her, and I'm like, man, the Falcons are making James Conner look like Le'Veon Bell. And she did not appreciate it because whenever I remind her that her team's not doing well, she gets very serious about it.
Would you be surprised if I felt that this was the most normal of the fantasy weeks of the first 5 weeks?
No, I think that's pretty fair. I feel like everybody sort of gave you what you expected from them. You know?
So, yeah, because I'm looking at the top 3 fantasy quarterbacks of this week. We have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Andrew Luck. Those are the top 3 fantasy scorers.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Wide receivers, we have Odell Beckham, Devontae Adams, and Antonio Brown. So I feel, and Hopkins had a huge game. So the big players came to play yesterday.
Yeah.
And, the top 3 running backs, we could talk about number 3 in a second, but we have Connor, I guess right now in the Pittsburgh RB role, Todd Gurley, and Isaiah Crowell, who just was amazing. He's actually been great.
Yeah, so he's one of those. I remember we talked about him early on, and you made fun of me for being even remotely positive about him. And I'm not going to take credit for being right about him. This is like, but the thing with Crowell, and the thing that I think that we were sort of sniffing around at the time is that like, so he actually has been one of these like, just get a guy, make him your RB2, and he'll be fine, right? And it's funny, everybody has been holding their nose, owning Isaiah Crowell, and then getting more production out of him than they expected his whole career. And it's funny because it's interesting to me. I will say he's still, because he's not that flashy. He's not that great. He doesn't like really jumps out to why he particularly well. That's why nobody ever gets all that excited about him. But he's just like he's just a pro, you know. He's just a guy who plays the position well. He does his job well. And I think it's cool that I think he came into the NFL with some character concerns, and now he's just become a guy who like shows up and does his job really well and overachieves. And so I don't know anything else about him other than that, but just based on that alone, I'll just say kudos to Isaiah Crowell. Good for you, man. And good for anybody who has him on their team, and now they're getting bonus production out of him. So,
do you mind if I give you 3 small takeaways just from looking? It looks like Matt Ryan is the new Ben Roethlisberger, who seems to play well either at home or in a dome.
Yeah.
Produce outdoors or on the road right now so far into the season. It's really crazy the differences of his fantasy production.
You know, that's fair. I can believe that. And I think the reason why is because, like, though the Falcons have a good running game, the running game seems like the facet of whatever their offense is overall, versus like this is a running game that helps us dictate the pace and flow and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's not like they have the kind of running game that can sort of impose their will on the road when you need to get a little bit of stability, and thus the whole system, the whole offense is just a little bit wilder and a little bit has a harder time. It makes sense.
Yeah. I will say, though, the Falcons' D, not great.
No.
And I think that does bode well for the offense for the rest of the year. They'll be throwing the ball, I think.
Yeah, and like just a lot of good options, man. They're good for. They're going to be like a fantasy ATM, you know.
That's great. A fantasy ATM.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, I think in general, and maybe this doesn't apply to the Falcons, but there are teams where everybody seems pretty good, but nobody, like, let's say the Chiefs are an example of that. Everybody's pretty good. Nobody really stands out. To a much lesser degree, a team like the Eagles, let's say, the Vikings, you know, where it's like, if there are situations like that, get all those guys at their positions, but like the ones who benefit the most are the quarterbacks, you know? So you look at Mahomes. Now, granted, Mahomes is so good now that a bad day for him still involves 300 passing yards, a rushing touchdown. Like, he still gets his, right? It gets spread around evenly through all the Chiefs players, and they're all like good for where you get them. But like Mahomes is the one who's the safe one of that, right? Because like if you have Hill, it could be a Watkins day. If you have a receiver, it could be a running back day. But like it's always going to be Mahomes. He's still going to get his.
Are you surprised with Adam Thielen's production this year so far?
A little bit, only in the way that excuse me, it feels a little bit like a coin, a regular coin that just happens to have flipped heads instead of tails. Only as far as like Thielen versus Diggs. Like I figured that they could both produce the way they have been producing, but it would alternate a little bit more as to who does more. And even like when I watch them, it seems like it's luck, right? Like it is just a coin flip, because like I watch the game and there'll be entire drives where Diggs catches 3-4 balls in a row, does all sorts of different things. He comes off the field for one play, Thielen scores a touchdown, you know? And it's like it's been a coin that's flipping heads every time. I think Thielen's a great player. I think Diggs is a great player. I think Minnesota's offense can support them both. Cousins looks fine. I don't know whether to make the point that it'll even out and sometimes it'll be Diggs that has one more catch and one more touchdown than Thielen, or to say, yeah, this is it. Like there's room for one Minnesota wide receiver to be up here and one to be right here, you know? Yeah,
I think like you said, I think it's Cousins is going to just end up with the nice day because he's got 2 great targets there and he's got Rudolph. So the third person I wanted to mention was Ezekiel Elliott. Are you nervous for Ezekiel Elliott owners right now a little bit?
You know what? Not really, because I feel like the fact that the whole offense is ultimately what he can make it. I sort of knew that going in, and I think last night was maybe the worst game that he had, like the most he sort of struggled to excel. And I know like the week before he did way more than you can count on, but like the answer's somewhere in the middle. And I think like he's maybe it helps that the one league that I have him in is a PBR league or a half PBR league. So even if he's getting 5 passes, even if he's only getting 15 yards out, I'm getting points now. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you'd rather have Gurley and Kamara, you know, you'd rather have a good running back on a winning team. But
Rest of season. Rest of season, is Elliott a top 5 RB?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd rather have Elliott than David Johnson.
Okay.
And I've been optimistic, and I'm optimistic about David Johnson, but I think Zeke's too good. He's too good.
DJ is bouncing back a little bit, which is nice to see in the touchdown.
Right? A little bit of optimism. I mean, Rosen didn't have a great completion percentage, but like the offense is moving. It's progressing with him there. It wouldn't have with Bradford.
Do you feel like the winner of the NFC East this year is going to have like 6 wins?
Feels like it could be. Yeah, nobody seems to want to win that division. Yeah. I assume that Philadelphia will get their act together and clean up in the second half of the season, but even then, it might only get them like 10 wins. You know, defending Super Bowl champion could come back and win the division with 9 or 10 wins and like have to play the first weekend of the playoffs.
On the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
But no, not on the road. No, not the first week, but the second week.
Yeah. That's true.
They'd have to go to somebody else that they beat the year before. They'll have to go and play them at home in the second round. It's crazy.
And any final takeaways from week 5? I know, so we do have the Saints and the Redskins tonight. That should be a good game. But from yesterday, any final takeaways, any concerns, any trends?
Not right now. I think because we're getting to the part of the schedule where, you know, with bye weeks, you're just sort of, I don't know, you're just trying to get through, right? You're just hoping that you have, if you start 2 at a position every week, you're hoping you have 3, you know? Like that's really all it is. I hope you have 3 good running backs. I hope you have 3 good receivers. Of course you have 3 good receivers. You have 30 good receivers. But, yeah, just not really. I don't know, man. It's a slog. It's a grind. I think
it's a fantasy slog. And I guess there were 2 guys in the AFC West. So I own Russell Wilson, and I've used him for the first 4 weeks. He's been disappointing me. I put him on my bench. Mm-hmm. I started Derek Carr over him, and Wilson ended up producing against the Rams yesterday. So like you never know in these matchups, man. I almost feel like I want to be taking the home quarterback. If I have 2 quarterbacks to choose from, and one of them's playing at home, I know it sounds dumb, but I almost want to take the home QB.
That makes sense, because if another quarterback is particularly compelling on their own, then yeah, you are looking at factors, right? Like matchup, home, whatever, weather, supporting cast, all that, you know? I think, man, I don't know why anybody wastes their energy on Oakland. Honestly, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think Cooper's worth it. I don't think Carr's worth it. I don't think Lynch is worth it. I don't know.
If you can get 50 cents on the dollar for Amari Cooper right now, would you do it?
If you can get anybody that you'd be comfortable starting for Amari Cooper, like more than Amari Cooper, you know, like, I don't know, man. Yeah. It's a headache, man. What's the point? There are too many decent receivers.
Yeah.
Why insist on one of the most complicated ones being the one that works out for you?
Yeah, honestly, I'd almost rather start Tyler Boyd over Amari Cooper right now. So
that's not a crazy thought, man. Boyd's legit. Boyd's on the field, man. He's playing.
Anyways, so that's it. I think I feel better about week 5 fantasy wise. I think people who drafted with their high draft capital on some of these players, they produced more or less normally this week.
Yeah.
There were a few less crazy things going on. So good luck to everyone tonight in your deciding week 5 matchup. And that's pretty much it.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I do have a final thought.
Yes, go ahead.
So this time, 5 weeks, part of the reason why I'm so blasé about it is because my teams are all doing pretty well. I don't feel the need to disrupt anything, right? But not everyone's in that position. And I guess I'm thinking, though, if you're in a position where your team is not doing that great, now's the time to start making moves. And I think you're not going to do it all in one fell swoop, but week by week, somebody's going to be missing players on a bye. They're going to be in a position where they can either make waiver moves and do something minor just to get through the week, or they can make a trade, right? You know, and so you're going to find people that are suddenly more interested in making trades. Make little one red paper clip type trades, you know, over the next 4 weeks. Try to fix your team. Try to get better. Use this opportunity to be more active. And I think if you're more proactive, I think it's good. I think this is the time of year where people get a little bit less defensive about, like, if you're the one who makes the trade offer, they're instantly like, there must be something wrong with it, whatever. I think nowadays people are like, you know.
I agree. I think it's time to not be lazy about your roster. It's time to be a little more proactive. Make sure you stay on the course here.
Yeah, be more proactive than everyone else.
Yeah, I agree. You want to keep your team moving. That's good advice, Mo. Very nice.
I think so. And I'm sorry it took me a minute to think of something, but yeah.
That's all right. Well, thank you so much for watching the Unintangibles. We will be back maybe with a guest again on Thursday morning. And
let us know how you feel about it, guys. Because we know that it's kind of hyper specific. We're talking about our own league, but the same way Jeff and I do anyway. The idea is for it to apply to everybody's situations, right? Find the commonalities. But let us know. Do you guys like it? Do you not? You're out there watching, so we'd love to hear from you.
We're definitely starting to get a few comments that are trickling through now, so there's a little more interaction. So we're happy about that. And Mo, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, ready to go. Thank you very much for watching the Unintangibles. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back on